Welcome along to Betting Weekly Premier League Show. You're with myself, Dan Roebuck, alongside me, Nigel Seeley and Jack Wright. A very good day to you both, getting towards the business end of the season, Nigel, as we know. And the big focus, of course, from a betting point of view, futures at least, is top five. We know that the Champions League spot will drop to fifth because of the Premier League's European coefficient. So who do we think's going to get in? Who do we think's going to miss out, Nigel? City third, Forest fourth, Newcastle fifth, Chelsea sixth, Villa seventh. I don't think we need to go any lower than that. What do you think? Where's the best plays here for those that want to get involved?
Good morning to you. Obviously, I think Arsenal are in. Manchester City are in.
Okay.
And then you've got four teams, I think, vying for those two places. I think Man City have got the proven credentials. I think that match against Newcastle, Aston Villa the other night when they were 1-1 has left it late, shows you they've been it, they've seen it, they've done it, they've won titles, they know what to do. That's going to hold them in great stead going down the final stretch. I think they'll probably be in. The other ones have got to play each other. I mean, Chelsea have got to play Newcastle and Forest, so there's going to be a lot of points. I think Aston Villa may have just left it a little bit too late. Their big run coming into it. So it's any two or three between Forest, Newcastle and Chelsea. And I think if I was pushed, I think the current five in the Premier League table will be the five in that top five position will be the five that go through. So Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Forest, Newcastle.
So Chelsea and Villa to miss out. I mean, Chelsea are minus money, Jack. A very good day to you as well. Villa are plus 250 to finish in the top five. Do you see any movement? Nigel reckons it's pretty much set.
Yeah, good day to you both and to everyone watching and listening. No, unfortunately, to be boring, that was my answer as well. Yeah, the current top five. I think it could be a few nips and tucks and twists and turns between now and the end of the season, but I think the top five as it stands right now is the top five come the final whistle on the final day of the season. Those sides with nothing else to worry about will hold a bit of an advantage. And you say there'll be a couple of head-to-heads there that will hold sway, but I'd go with that. And I think that probably would be a fair reflection on the season.
Get your thoughts in the comments. I know that a few of our Villa fans who watch have suggested that Villa are good for a top four or a top five. I think it's Jake and maybe Adam as well that are on Villa. If you still think Villa are going to do it, plus 250 with Bet Rivers. Still got to play Fulham at home, Bournemouth away, Spurs at home, Manchester United away. So we'll see what Villa can do. But as Nigel points out, the fact that they were beaten by City in midweek, that might be the blow that keeps them out of Champions League football again. We've got the boys' profit and loss on screen for you. We did nudge into profit a few weeks ago. We've slipped the wrong side of the relegation line, unfortunately, the red line. But we've still got enough time to pull it around. Good day, good weekend for Nigel as well last weekend, we should point out. Tag us in at Because We Win on Instagram. Plenty of free picks, plenty of exclusive content, of course. Stay across our Twitter feed as well. And if you've not yet signed up to the newsletter, we still get shout outs. Obviously, people new to the channel, if you want to get the newsletter, bettingweeklystudios.com, and it will come into your inbox early week and late week, looking ahead to midweek content, and then obviously the weekend, and everybody contributes to that. Let's start our roundup, shall we? Chelsea against Everton, because it is the early kickoff, Nigel. Chelsea minus 182 here, 7:30 Eastern. Everton a plus 510, draw at plus 310. I was just going back over Chelsea's games ahead of European football, but then I started to think, is it still relevant now, Nigel? Do you think? Do we look at all those group matches when Chelsea sort of rotated quite a lot and had pretty much different squads? Is it different now? We're at the business end. I mean, they've got an okay record ahead of European games this season, won 7 of 12, just 2 defeats. But is it still relevant? Are we still factoring that in? It's Djurgården, of course, for them in the Conference League in midweek.
I think it is a relevant factor, but not in the European Conference League. I mean, it's like Manchester City having a match in midweek against Because We Win 11. You know, it's the tournament is just a waste of time. You know, Chelsea are going to win it. It's just a question of they're going to play in the final, and they were going to win it from the start of the tournament. Doesn't matter who they play, really. I mean, technically, I don't think it really bothers at all. I think the fact for Chelsea is they want to get in that Champions League position. The one thing I would say on this Premier League card this weekend, there's a lot of heavy favourites. You're going through the matches. There's not really many interesting matches from a betting perspective. There are obviously some interesting matches. One in particular interesting match in the FA Cup semi-final, which we'll come on to at the end of the show. But it's a weekend where you look at it and the favourites look very, very short. And there's a lot of reasons why. The favourites have got things to play for. They've got incentives to go for, Champions League spots, and the others have got nothing to play for. Everton fall in that category of absolutely nothing to play for. We do know David Moyes is a proud man, and however well he has done since he come into the club, he's coming into this match in a bad run of form. They've only won one in their last 8. Lots of draws in that period of time. Chelsea had a massive win at the weekend against Fulham. That was a huge win. 1-0 down going into the final couple of minutes, and then they can turn it around and win 2-1. And their best players are still not playing well. Nicholas Jackson hasn't looked the same since his returns. Cole Palmer has been totally missing for the last 10 games in the Premier League, a player that was at the forefront of everyone's mind to potentially be the player of the season at one stage, and now he's fallen away completely. Big concerns for that, but other players have stepped up. Neto stepped up, and other players as well have had a good season from Enzo Fernandez as well. Enzo's had a good season for them as well. So I'm looking at this here thinking that, Chelsea got some big matches. I've mentioned at the beginning, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Nottingham Forest to come in their 3 matches, which is going to determine their Champions League. So this is a match they have to win. I think it's going to be nervy. I think it's going to be tight. We know Everton are very, very strong defensively. Everton have failed to score in their last 2 away matches against Chelsea, and Chelsea have kept 3 clean sheets in the last 4 home matches. So I'm coming on here from an anti-goals perspective, and I'm coming on here for a narrow Chelsea win. I think Chelsea, the win to 0 here was very tempting to be one of my bets at plus 138. Under 2.5 goals here, which is minus 109. I think that is a great bet. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two sides have been less than 3 goals. Last 7 Everton matches under 2.5 goals. Nerves at Stamford Bridge, a match they must win. Doesn't matter what the scoreline is. I'm going to go for a narrow Chelsea win, 1-0, 2-0. And my bets here, very close, these were really close to being official plays, but under 2.5 goals, minus 109, and Chelsea to win to 0 at plus 138.
So close to being an official pick. So from your personal point of view, you're probably going to play these this weekend.
I'll be betting
these,
these, yeah, 100%.
And who plays up front for the Betting Weekly 11 football team?
Oh, Big Steve Wiss. Get the ball into Big Steve Wiss. He holds it up.
Yeah.
Him and Simon Holden. Man City got no chance against them.
I thought Holden might be left back. Left back at home.
Well, yeah. Who would
You're setting them up for yourself now.
I think you got to have Steve Wisser up front.
Wisser.
Jack, what do you think on this one? I mean, Everton last 7 all unders. I mean, to me, as Nigel's pointed out here, I mean, unders looks a massive play to me around about minus 110. What you got for us? Just a lead.
Yeah, I think it's a great bet. Unders. I've gone on an Everton +1 Asian handicap at minus 121 as my lean on this one. I think it will be tight and cagey. I think Nigel's mentioned it there that David Moyes is a proud man. He'll look to keep his side focused. I think the problem for them is James Tarkowski. That's the one thing that concerned me about that. His hamstring injury probably will keep him out of this one, but would likely mean Jake O'Brien will move in for the right-hand side and they'll bring someone like Patterson in right back. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but we'll have to wait and see on team news and press conferences on that one. But yeah, I just feel it will be tight. So to take that +1 for Everton, Chelsea have been unconvinced and they were booed off at half-time against Fulham, weren't they? They did come back to snatch it with those 2 late goals. So I think Everton's game plan will be to keep it as tight as possible for as long as possible, get the crowd a little bit edgy, get them on Chelsea players' backs. They're obviously not overly supportive of the manager or the team at this moment in time. Chelsea a little bit disgruntled about how they're playing. So that's how I see it going. And when you look at the fact that Chelsea have been so unconvincing, so this bet's not lost in the last 6 Chelsea games. It's won 3 times and 3 pushes as well. And they've had home games with Ipswich and Leicester in that period of time as well. Obviously, 2 of the worst sides in the league at the moment. If you zoom out of that a little bit further, last 11 games, it's 2 or more. They've only won by 2 or more on 1 occasion. And guess who that was against? That was Southampton. So 6 wins and 4 pushes across those other games. And as I say, only Arsenal have conceded fewer goals on the road than Everton. So it will be tight. Their issue is scoring the goals. Can they score? But I think, a tie is on the cards here. Unders is certainly on the cards. But I ended up landing on the minus 121 +1 Everton Asian handicap.
A couple of leans from the boys there, but close to an official play from Nigel's point of view. Let's get some official picks, shall we, here? Because we've got 2 in the Newcastle-Ipswich game, which is a Saturday 10 a.m. Kickoff. Newcastle, short price favourites, minus 500. Ipswich, plus 1,300. Interesting. Newcastle, obviously beaten by Aston Villa last time out. Jason Tindall came in for a little bit of criticism, didn't really rotate. I expect him to rotate a little bit for this one, Nigel. You've got your 2-unit play on this, and you're looking to cover a big Asian line.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Newcastle minus 2 goals at minus 103. I think they win this, and I think they win it well. Their home form is exceptional this season. If you look at their home form, they've won their last 4 home matches by at least 2 goals. We get the 2 goals as a push. We know that Ipswich have got a goal threat in them, but it's sort of dried up in recent weeks. But the trouble is they're conceding goals at an alarming rate. 4-0 against Arsenal last week. They conceded 4 against Nottingham Forest. They conceded 3 against Manchester United, and they conceded 4 against Newcastle in the reverse fixture. It's all about Newcastle. This new Ipswich are done for the season. We know they're relegated. He's going to probably look at some players for next season, and Newcastle have to win this match. It's a must-win match after the midweek. At home, they're probably the most formidable team in the Premier League, and they've got something to go for here. And it could, at the top of that table, in that battle for the thing, come down to goal difference, because Newcastle and Chelsea have exactly the same goal difference. There's only 2 points separating them, but they're both plus 18 on the goal difference. And suddenly, if Newcastle can put a few past them here, they're in the real box seat, which will not only put them ahead on goal difference, but technically, when you get into, they're a point ahead of them, aren't they? When the goal difference is so superior. So I think they'll look at this as an opportunity to get 4 or 5 in and really do a number and get a win they want and get a convincing win. They need goals in this one. The goal difference could come down to it, and they've got to play Chelsea as well. So, if Chelsea do beat them, then they could potentially be level on points, and the goal difference will be crucial here. Leif Davis is suspended, obviously, after that horror tackle last week against Arsenal. And if you look at Newcastle at home, they're just formidable. I think they're going to run riot here. I also liked over 3.5 goals in this match at plus 110. I think there's goals in it, and I think all of them are going to come. The majority of them are going to come from Newcastle. I can see Newcastle winning this 4 or 5-0. And I hope that Isaac will get 3 or 4 to give me a little bit of chance on the top goal scorer pick. But hopefully, we got the place money, but I've bet him at the start of the season, so hopefully he can get it. It was an obvious play to go for Isaac in this match, but there is a chance that he could be rested if you want to take the price, or he could come off if they go 2 or 3-0 up. But I think there's goals from all over the pitch. Hungry Newcastle need a big win, and I think they'll get it against an Ipswich side who are looking to build for next season in the Championship. So Newcastle -2, -103, with the insurance if they win by exactly 2, which they have done in at least the last 4 home matches, we get our money back.
Nigel makes the point about maybe preparing for the Championship next season, Jack. I fully take that. I think they've started to do that. I think they did it against Arsenal with Delap on the bench and Hurst starting. You've got your hot dog play here, Jack.
I have, and I'm glad to hear Nigel's views on that game. Absolutely echo my own, and I don't think I've ever put up a team to score over 3.5 goals before as a bet. I am this week. I'm going with Newcastle over 3.5 goals at plus 205 as my hot dog for all the same reasons that Nigel's just outlaid there. I expect this to be an avalanche of goals from Newcastle. Absolutely the main reason that I clocked onto as well was the goal difference being so tight in there. They've got a bit of an advantage over a couple of sides there. Bang level with Chelsea and a little bit behind Manchester City. So this represents the best opportunity to get that goal difference clucked up a little bit further. They say games against Brighton, Chelsea, Arsenal and Everton to come. Clearly this is the best opportunity at home where they are so good with that vociferous support behind them, roaring them on. And it's a 3 o'clock kickoff local time, which is quite unusual for Newcastle this season. So that will be a bit of a boost as well, an advantage for them. So just looking across those games, I say I won't really repeat the stuff that Nigel's now said, but looking at the games with Newcastle, they've hit 4 or more goals 5 times this season. They've scored 30 goals in the last 10 at home, which is a phenomenal consistency considering a couple of the games there they played, they only scored 1. So they've been scoring goals for fun all over the pitch, as Nigel said. We've got Isak, they've got Callum Wilson, must be really desperate to get on and score goals as well. We've seen how Harvey Barnes has come in to replace Gordon. Gordon's now on the bench. He's going to want to get back involved and take his chance when he comes on. And Jacob Murphy, obviously as a former Norwich player, come through the academy there. This will be a bit of a special moment for him. He scored in the reverse fixture, as Nigel said, ended 4-0 as well. And you look at Ipswich's goals conceded this season, they have been absolutely terrible, especially against the top sides in the league. Against those better sides, they've been battered so often. And so you look that trying to find the stats I'm looking for here. Versus the top 5, they conceded 30 goals in 9 meetings, 4+ in 6 of those 9 games, including in that reverse, where it was 4-0. So they've conceded 4 more goals on 9 occasions this season already, which is a huge number. And so I can see this being exactly the same here at St James's Park. So plus 205 hot dog, over 3.5 Newcastle goals.
Yeah, team total play for the hot dog there, over 3.5. Stats bear it out. Nigel's 2-unit play, Newcastle -2 on the Asian line. Brighton West Ham we can deal with next. Just a couple of quick leans from the boys here. Brighton -157. Nigel, only Leicester have got a worse record than Brighton over the last 4 games. It's a small sample size, but we shouldn't really be betting Brighton at minus money. I know West Ham haven't got too much to play for, but this was a tricky one for me. Give us your quick lean on
I think this is I've got written here, tricky. And this is the word that sums this match up completely. I mean, everything about me looks at the Brighton price at -157 and thinks I've got to fade that. I have to fade that. And West Ham, after their performance last week against Southampton, was absolutely diabolical, and they're $4 to win it. But I mean, there is nothing to these two teams to play for. Absolutely nothing. Brighton do have some injuries, and they have suspension to João Pedro. Obviously, that's a big blow for them. And West Ham, for the first time this season, have everyone to choose from. They don't have any injury concerns or anybody else. I think Wan-Bissaka may be an injury concern, but other than that, they've got a full team to pick from. You've got to expect a bounce back from West Ham. You have to expect a bounce back after Fulcrook's comments, which were hilarious, and the way that he it's a bit like me and the hidden camera. I talk about other people on this show. They're not putting their weight in various things. But anyway, especially Mr. Roebuck, he gets most of the grief. But I do think there's a bounce back here from West Ham. And when you look at what is the incentive? The incentive obviously is Graham Potter going back to Brighton. When he left Brighton to go to Chelsea, the Brighton fans will give him not a very nice reception, I would guess. And obviously, he's got something to prove with his West Ham side. So there is an incentive here. If you look at it, 24 of the 33 matches in Brighton this season, both teams have scored, but both teams' score is -150. It's got that kind of a look at the game. It could be a 0-0 end of season bore fest, or it could be 4-4. And for that reason, I have absolutely no idea where to go. If it was a regular season match in sort of middle of the season, I'd probably be looking at the over 2.5. But that's -155. Tricky with a capital T. Not for me.
Jack, what's your lean on this one?
Yeah, I was much the same. I was going, the Brighton slide continues, and I'd written down I'd look to fade them, but I can't really get with West Ham on side. Sorry, Ray. But like the Hammers are just that performance last week was terrible. That was the confidence boost they needed to go and win that well, but it wasn't to be. So for Brighton, they're winning 6 across all competitions. So they unravelled against Brentford last week, conceded 4 goals. João Pedro sent off, Nigel said, so suspended here. They conceded 2+ in their last 5 league games. They do that again here. My lean is +1 West Ham on the +1 Asian handicap. So if they concede 2 again, that means they've got to score 4 for this bet to lose. So that's the kind of angle I've taken in on that one. And so West Ham, for all their faults, aren't getting beaten heavily each week, and they're kind of just niggly kind of draws and say single goal defeats and the odd win here and there. But with Bowen, Paquetá, Kudos and Fulkrug, interested to see how he performs in this one. They have got the tools to score against Brighton and certainly avoid defeat. Obviously, and Nigel mentioned Graham Potter going back. He has been back before with Chelsea and they got beat 4-1. So he'll want to go and do a better performance this time round, and say they haven't been on the end of big defeats this season, and especially away from home under Potter. So expect them to keep it tight, a tight game. Yeah, could see it being a tie. Therefore, the +1 appeals at -136.
Wolves Leicester next up. We've got Jack's 2-unit play here. This is another Saturday 10 a.m. game here. Wolves are -195, Leicester +510. Wolves are top of the 6-match form tables, 5 wins and a draw, more points than any other team in that period. Leicester have sort of chopped and changed, trying to find the right formation to get a win or get a positive performance. They still just can't get it right, can they? Jack, how are we tackling this one here? Because on the face of it, Wolves should be bet, but they are short.
Yeah, and I did look at the win to nil, one that we've favoured a lot against Leicester over the last few weeks. That's plus money. I couldn't quite put that much faith in the Wolves' defence, and therefore I've gone with overs at -134. As you say, the revival under Vitor Pereira has been exceptional. I don't think any side in the top 5 European leagues has won 5 league games on the spin other than Wolves. So that's a very good body of work. And they're on the chance to win 6 games on the spin for the first time since 1970, believe it or not. And when the 6th win on the spin that day was a 3-0 win against Manchester City with Bobby Gould scoring a brace. So there we have it. I would ask who the number one
Cliff
was.
Richard was number one then, I think, with I think the top of the charts.
Was he? Yeah, I don't know any of his songs, mate. So
congratulations,
sure
I think.
That's right. Pleasure. No worries. I've never heard of it. It was a band called Matthew's Southern Comfort. Apparently, it was number one on that day. But that world famous band. Anyway,
much maligned.
We move on. I know, especially Matthews. But so I think Wolves are so one of the few sides that probably don't want the season to end. They've got some players in good form. Cunha's back, obviously engineering that move we talked about. Strand Larson scoring goals. They've got Aït-Nouri on that side as well, who's playing particularly well. And Menetzi's come in and caught the eye a little bit on that right-hand side. So, I think that they've got the ability to score plenty of goals here. I think they'll want to take the opportunity to kind of keep that good momentum going, keep climbing up the league table. It's kind of that battle to be sort of the sort of top of the bottom half as such. And what we're going to get from Leicester, it could be a tools down even further than we've seen already, and a complete unravelling. Obviously, Vardy's comments were quite stinging as far as their performance this season is concerned, and what he called their underperformance as well. Or it could just be a case that they come out, as you say, there'll be a bit of rotation. Again, another manager with possibly no interest in the side that he's managing at the moment. So that could be a problem. How do the players respond to that? And so it'll be interesting to see the lineup that he puts out there, if there is a possibility he's going to take this into the Championship. But Leicester's 12 of 16 road games have gone over. Only 4 sides have seen more than that, Wolves being one of them. But they played a game more, all of those. They could tie at the top there. And 23 of Wolves' 33 games across all venues this season have gone over. Only Brighton and Villa have seen that happen on more occasions. So I think this is a game for the likes of Cunha to really catch the eye. And I can see Wolves racking up a score in this one as well. But I've gone with the over 2.5 goals just on the odd chance that Leicester could snatch a goal. They hit the post against Arsenal. They have got a couple of players that have a moment of individual ability in them. So I've gone sort of, for my opinion, the safer side and gone with goals.
2-unit play, over 2.5 goals. Nigel, what's your sort of thoughts on this one? I mean, Wolves are a gift, aren't they? The best side at the minute in the Premier League. What are we playing here? 2-0? Are we having a lumpy one? Or are we going -1 Asian handicap? What's the play?
Just something not right about Wolves at almost -$2. There's something that's not right about it. Leicester, Leicester, I've gone against Jack, actually. My lean was for under 2 goals here. I know it's his 2-unit play, but I've actually gone for under 2.5 goals. I mean, I think Leicester have looked a little bit better defensively. I mean, they played Liverpool the other day, and Liverpool were all over them, but it was only 1-0. And Liverpool, the unders cashed there. I mean, if you look at their matches away from home, prior to that 2-2 draw against Brighton, 3 of their 4 matches prior to that all cashed on under 2.5 goals. And the reason why I like under 2.5 goals in these matches is because when you bet the overs, you want both teams to contribute, and Leicester just don't contribute. I mean, they've only scored once in 1 match in their last 9. So, the chances are Leicester are going to concede, aren't going to score. So you are relying on Wolves to get all 3 of those goals. So I actually like the under 2.5 goals here at +108. And when you look at Leicester's, I know they're playing awful, but their run of fixtures has been pretty bad. I mean, they played Chelsea. Lost 1-0. Man United, Man City. I know Man United are a poor version, but still Man United. They played Man City, Newcastle, and Liverpool. I mean, that's what they've lost. They have had a treacherous run of fixtures. Their next few matches are pretty, their next 3 of their 4 matches are Wolves, Southampton and Ipswich. They got Nottingham Forest as well in that period as well. So their fixture list is going to be a little bit kinder to them. I just think they've shown a little bit defensive. They've been a little bit better defensively. And they just offer nothing. So for me, I've gone against him. I've gone under 2.5 goals at +108. I won't be betting it because I want this show to be in profits. I'll be cheering it. But my lean was to the other side.
Still I also bet like if you want.
I'm Wolves to win to 0 +140. I liked, but again that -195. There was the price I want. You can pay the bill there, Dan. And Cunha +108. He was showing his wallet last week, no money, and all of a sudden all the lights are going out. He's not paid the Lecky bill. I'm not surprised with some of his picks on that newsletter. He's not paying the Lecky.
I had a winning pick on the newsletter last week.
Oh,
very
congratulations!
I'm inching towards breaking even for the newsletter. Listen, I'm flying on the newsletter. Don't worry about me. Southampton, Fulham. Next up here, another Saturday 10 a.m. game. Let's rattle through this one, fellas. Fulham. I like Fulham, but minus money away from home. I know it's Southampton, but I just sensed that Southampton... I thought this was massive hot dog territory for Mr. Nigel Seeley. I thought we were going to have a little bit of a Saints plus 430 as a hot dog here. What do you reckon, Nigel?
Well, yeah, you can make a case for it. I mean, definitely wouldn't bet Fulham at minus 157. They've got some injuries as well. Muniz, Smith-Rowe, Reece Nelson is a long-term casualty as well, so they've got players that aren't there. Motivate, they've got nothing to play for. Southampton have got, even though they're relegated, they've got everything to play for. They want to win. They don't want to be the second worst side in the Premier League. And they've got a manager that wants to prove to take charge of them. I don't think he will, but I think he want to prove that he's got something about him. I can see why your angle here is plus 420. I mean, plus 1 goal. Southampton does look tempting as well against the Fulham side that could be on the beach, couldn't they? Could be on their summer holidays. Fulham, there though, I mean, both teams to score and goals is the way I wanted to go. Both teams to score have been a yes in 24 of the 33 matches for Fulham this season. The last 5 Southampton matches at home have seen average 3.4 goals. So there's been a lot of goals. So I think there's goals here. Over 3 goals was my lean on the Asian at plus 123. But Southampton on the Asian handicap at plus 1 would tempt me as well. I think Fulham at minus 157 is something that, people might bet it. They're cash, but I don't think it. I think a lot of these favourites this weekend, Wolves at minus 195, Fulham's minus 157. The next Brighton. Match we're going to come on to, Brighton.
Yeah.
The next match we're going to speak to about
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. I think if you're betting these at these kind of prices, you are gonna come. It's a couple of them. I think at least one of them's going to slip up. So, yeah, I wouldn't get involved. But I over 3 goals for me, plus 123.
Yeah, Jack, your lean goes the other way here. I mean, I thought Southampton were better against West Ham. 15 shots against West Ham, 4th most of the season, most of 2015. I'm sort of tending to go overs, but I know you like the other direction here.
Oh, man, again, this is another one. This is a tricky slate this week for more than one reason. And this is another game that I've got very little interest in and found it very tough to call. Could go either way. I did go under 2.5 goals because it's plus money at plus 112. Couple of reasons being, I just think Southampton trying to get over that line ugly. They're level 1 points with that record-breaking Derby side now. So 1 more point will do it. And I do wonder if they get that 1 point, then it might well open up for the last few games of the season. Simon Rusk in charge. We talked about him. Probably not for Southampton, but if he does seem to be the best of the 3 managers they've had this season, it might well open up the door somewhere else for him to go and get a head coach role, maybe further down the pyramid. So we'll have to see how it goes. And the kind of weird quirk about this is that he had 1 league game in charge after he took over in interim charge after Russell Martin, and that was the reverse fixture, which ended 0-0. So I do think he is setting up, and we've seen quite, the 1-1 last week. Again, the fact that they haven't got lots of ability in there, I think they are just trying to sneak over the line and get there, which kind of led me towards the unders. Player-wise, I wanted to try and get Fulham on side, but again, you look at Iwobi, you look at Jimenez. The one I did settle on, if anyone's looking to go down that route, would probably be Ryan Sessegnon, who's kind of generally priced as a defender, but he's been playing as a right attacker over the last 3 games, and he's had 3 shots with 1 on target in his first 2, and he didn't have any in the last, which kind of put me off, but he did have an assist. So if you want to look at him, he's plus 215 to score or assist. That's something he's done in 5 of his last 7 appearances with 3 goals and 2 assists, all in separate games as well. So they were my kind of 2 leans on that one.
No, like the prop. Good one. We've got 1 unit play from Jack next. It is the Bournemouth-Manchester United game we're going to talk about. This is Sunday, 9 a.m. Bournemouth are minus money here, minus 150. I mean, it's incredible that we're sort of hanging this on Bournemouth because at home at minus money, just 3 wins from 7, not to be trusted. But who knows with United at the minute. You've got your 1 unit play here, Jack, on this one.
I have, as I said a couple of times now, I found this a very tricky slate this week with reduced games in the Premier League.
Early.
I know. I wanted my 1 unit play to be plus money, and having looked through the bets I've gone with, this is the one that I've settled on, under 2.5 goals at plus 125. 1 unit play. We obviously talked about Bournemouth a lot over the recent weeks. Only one within 8 now, but they're still 8th, so they're holding that position, which we think will get European football next season. It doesn't seem that anyone wants it by the form of these sides at the moment. you look at their attacking players. Semenyo has kind of suffered a dip in form. He scored early, of course, a couple of weeks ago, but as over the last few games has suffered a bit of a dip in form. Evan Nielsen's blanked in his last couple after coming in hot after his injury. Kluivert's only just back from injury, so he's working his way back into it. And Ouattara, no goal in his last 10 league games. So they are struggling in front all season long. What they've had is creating plenty of chances and failing to take them. And you look at, say, across the season, they've only scored 20 goals in 16 home games. They tend to be more prolific away from home. That's been their problem. 5 of those goals came against Nottingham Forest, of course, as well. So if you take that out of the equation, it's even lower. But they have only conceded 14. Only Forest and Liverpool have got a better defensive home record than Bournemouth. So it's something that you don't really associate with them, not really scoring too many, but keeping it quite tight at the back. That's their home form in a nutshell. 10 of 16 unders for Bournemouth at home. Only Forest have had more than that. And here we go to Manchester United. What are we going to get from them? They were heavily rotated against Wolves, which kind of threw things out of the equation there. That obviously only ended 1-0 as well. Expecting to be a bit stronger for this one, I guess, as they look to get players match ready for the big European games coming up. But again, they're another side that create chances, but just can't finish them. Xerxes looked like he was starting to show a little bit of form before his injury. He's obviously out. Rasmus Højlund looks completely shot to pieces. Doesn't look he's going to score anytime soon. They're relying on Bruno to pull the strings will come up with a bit of magic, or for Garnacho to kind of get his radar right and rather than just basically smash ones over the bar, actually get one on target. So I just feel that this has got a tight game about it where teams won't be able to take their chances. 2 defences that are fairly decent. United's defence have only conceded 20 goals on the road. That's only more than Arsenal, Liverpool and Everton. And they've only scored 17. So it all pointed towards being a lower scoring game. And to get under 2.5 goals at plus money was my 1 unit today.
Good reasoning with that one. Nigel, we sort of briefly touched on Bournemouth at minus 150 a few minutes ago. I can't back. I mean, I know United are all over the place, but you can't back Bournemouth at minus 150, can you? What's your thoughts on this one?
I honestly thought Bournemouth were about even money for this match. I thought even money. The minus 150 to me is just ridiculously low. I was very close to putting Man United as my hot dog at plus 375 here. Last week, if we had recorded on the Friday after Thursday, then Wolves would have been my 4 point. Yeah. They would have been my hot dog at plus 5-2 to beat Liverpool, at 250 to beat Liverpool, to beat Man United.
Well, you both went leans, didn't you? You both went leans.
We didn't put them on because we didn't realise the implications of what that match would have taken out of them. You saw last week probably the biggest gamble of the Premier League this season, where Man United drifted out, and Wolves almost went favourites before the match. The pre-match, it was almost favourites for Wolves, and they started off plus 250 on the Thursday. It's about the team news from Manchester United here. Obviously, we know Amorim has said that he's not going to play the key players, and the Premier League is secondary. And it's all about the match in Bilbao on Thursday. It's their season. That's the whole season. But there's a price and there's a price. And this price has just got too big, I think. Man United are plus 375 here. I looked at the week before Europa League matches, Manchester United, they've played 10 matches in the Europa League this season. How many have they lost week before?
4?
2. They lost 2.
Not
bad. They've had good form, and they were against decent sides. Well, not the Forest, and the other one was Tottenham. Wasn't not the greatest side, but it was an interesting stat to me there. And I just think that Bournemouth, we said for this show for ages that Bournemouth are a side that are on the beach. 1 win in 10, 1 win in 7 at home, not scoring goals. Man United have got a good record here. They've won here in the last 3 visits. If anyone had said to me at the start of the season, Man United would be plus 375 to win at Bournemouth, I would have said you're completely crazy. I'm leaning towards Man United plus a half at plus 120. But I do think when the teams come out and it's all the kids again for Manchester United, I think they'll drift a little bit. I don't think the drift on Man United has got to the point where I think it will get bigger. I think the money will come for Bournemouth here. But for me, difficult match. Just purely on the prices, you've got to be in Man United here, 375 and plus a half.
It's a massive price, and team news is going to be key. I mean, they did create more than Wolves and got beat, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. That price movements are going to be key. Let's get to Liverpool Spurs, 11:30 a.m. on Sunday. We've got Nigel's hot dog and we've got Jack's same game parlay here. We've still got FA Cup semi-finals to preview for you as well. This is an interesting one. Obviously, Nigel, a draw wins Liverpool the title. They will surely want to win. They are minus 375. Spurs are plus 800. The draw is now plus 550. Incidentally, how are we tackling? And well, I know how we're going to tackle this one. This is classic Seeley. Come on, what you got?
Well, they've moved the price.
Yeah.
Because it's 575 the draw now.
Is it 575?
It was minus, and it's money for minus 435 for Liverpool.
For Liverpool, yeah.
I'm going to go for the draw here at 6-1. I mean, it's now plus 575, 575, 6-1 when we sent the picks through. Can someone explain to me why this is 6-1? This
because Liverpool are going for the title and they're going to smash Spurs, who have got a Europa League game.
Okay, let's go back through history. When teams have gone for titles or teams have won titles, what's the atmosphere like at the ground? It's party atmosphere. Celebratory. There's not a fierce tackle in the match. There's everyone's just partying. I remember Man United winning the title and they went home and they got beat by West Ham and they were like 10 on. There's so many times in football seasons where teams have won the title or on the verge of winning the title where they get turned over at crazy prices. For that reason, what you just said there, everybody expects them to turn up and win 4 or 5-0. Tottenham have got nothing to play for. They've got the Europa League in the week. They're not going to try. Ange Postecoglou is fighting for his job. There's players there who want to get in that team for the Bodo Glimt match. They want to get into that match. They've got a great chance of reaching a European final. There's players on the fringe. Son is probably missing as well. So there's players who Solanke needs to get goals for his confidence, for everything for his part of this season. And there is no reasoning why this match should be 6-1 the draw compared to, okay, we'll look at any match. Brighton v West Ham plus 310. Why is this double the price of Brighton West Ham? Why is this?
I think that's the second biggest as well, isn't it?
Well, why is Wolves Leicester plus 325 and this one is $6? To me, it's just a crazy price. Now, Liverpool could win this 3 or 4-0, but 6-1 the tie is wrong. 575 is wrong. I could go back to give you evidence of why there is a tie or why stats on ties in these matches, but it's all irrelevant. It's about what goes into this match. Liverpool need a point to win the Premier League title. They will win the Premier League title whether they lose this match or not. But they're up against a Tottenham side that have given them problems before, score goals. There's always goals in these matches. Salah always scores against Tottenham. Tottenham always score against Spurs. It wouldn't surprise me at all. For Tottenham, this will be a perfect atmosphere to go there, playing what is essentially going to be a pre-season friendly. There won't be a tackle in the match. Under the cards is an absolute gift if you can get under 3.5 or under 4, whatever you may be, if you can get that bet. Because it's a party time. And when teams have such high intensities, when they drop down to a match. And let's be fair, Liverpool aren't playing that great in recent weeks. I mean, I thought they should have beaten Leicester by a lot more. But, since they've had the title wrapped up, they're in first gear. It just wouldn't surprise me here to see this just... The last 20 minutes, a draw. Everyone's going mad. They're crowned champions. Slot walks around. Tottenham get their point, move on, and go and do bigger things in Europe. 6-1, 575 is the wrong price in this match. Completely wrong.
Just to pick up on that intensity, I was at the Arsenal game last night, and there was a conspicuous lack of press. It was one of those games that could have been 0-0. It ended up 2-2, but there wasn't the intensity there because both Palace and Spurs and Arsenal have got different agendas rather than that Premier League game.
I think this is all about the level of Tottenham. It's not about the level of Liverpool. At Liverpool, we know they're going to do what they do at home. They're going to celebrate, but it's all about Tottenham. If Tottenham want to go to it and Tottenham have a crack, they've got a chance of beating Liverpool because you could get Liverpool on an off day. Also, the Liverpool team, there'll be players in this Liverpool squad who need appearances to get and win this medal. So he may make some substitutions. He may make some team selections to give people on the fringe to make sure they get a medal because they've got 5 games to go. They're going to win the season, so give everyone a chance so that everyone can pick a winner's medal up. But I suppose the reason why is obviously Tottenham's commitment in Europe, but I just don't get it why it's double the price of pretty much every game in the Premier League.
It is a big price. It's a big price. We'll see if it lands. Look, read between the lines here as well. What Nigel's telling you, you could easily play Tottenham on the Asian line plus 175 at even money.
Yeah.
And even if Liverpool win by 2, it's only a half loss, and you've got a lot on your side there, even a Liverpool narrow win. So read between the lines with that. We've got same game parlay from Jack here. You got a couple of elements. You're not quite rolling it up to 6-1, but it's plus money.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, plus 195. I looked at a few lines here and I couldn't quite get them on board. My main thought here was, the narrative talking about that game is that Liverpool are going to turn up here and put on a show and steamroll 4 or 5 past Tottenham, and I don't buy that either. I was actually looking to take on the unders on this one. There is history of lots of goals in it, but again, it could be a tie. That's all Liverpool need. It could be if they go 2-0 up. As you say, it's going to be end of season procession time, passing the ball around, Olays, and like the sun's out, and everyone's having a fantastic time. So it kind of does derail that a little bit. So I've gone with a player that I do like and has been in decent form recently. That's Luis Diaz to score or assist. He's got 4 goals in 5 appearances versus Spurs as well. Got 2 in the reverse fixture, which was crazy earlier in the season. I don't expect it to be as wild as that. For the reasons we've now talked about. But 11 goals, 5 assists is his best return since joining Liverpool. And he's either scored or assisted in each of his last 5 at home in the Premier League. So a player that is good at contributing on both sides of that as well. And the second leg of 2 is that for Spurs to get over 2.5 corners. So we're not going wild on the corner front here. Just a little bit of effort from Tottenham will be enough to get that over the line. Obviously, across the season, they are one of the best sides for winning corners. 101 corners across the season. That's an average of 6.3, only behind.
Good film, that.
That's what. Which one's that?
Good film. It's under 1 damage.
Oh God!
Oh, I told you last week, Dan. Come on. I told you.
Sorry, go on.
Can you?
Go on. Get on with it.
John, if we can, I don't know if we can do anything with that, please.
I enjoyed it anyway. Go on.
Do we leave it longer? Is the pause long enough?
Don't join in with Nigel. Get on with it. Get on with it. Get on with it. Get on with it. We're on the taco here. Get on with it.
Right, anyway, they've only second behind Liverpool as far as corners won away from home is concerned, or average at least 3 or more in 16 of 16 away games this season. And Liverpool have conceded 3 or more in 13 of 16 at home. So a beautiful little same game parlay at plus 195. Not going mad there.
Listen, it was the corners that let Nigel's same game parlay down last week, if you remember. Nigel went for over 4.5. Was it Everton corners?
Over
Was that the one that
3.5.
let us... Over 3.5. Let us down, didn't it? It's the corners that let us down. So you two boys
dialed it down.
watching that well-known film 101 Corners, you're letting us down with the same game parlay picks. Welcome along to FA Cup Corner. We've got 2 semi-finals to preview. Now, technically, this is the Premier League show, but Nigel has put a 1-unit play on an FA Cup. Are you allowed, Nigel?
I was waiting where his 1-unit play was coming. It's snuck into the FA Cup.
I'm making the rules. Yes, we are.
You are. Okay.
4 picks from
right.
7 Premier League games I've done there.
Yeah. This is a 1-unit play from Nigel, and it's the Palace Villa game that we're going to talk about first up here. Villa are the favourites, plus 123 here. I thought Palace were all right once they got their main men on. Mateta, brilliant goal against Arsenal in midweek. Sarr as well made a bit of an impact. What do you like in the first semi-final of the FA Cup, Nigel? This is a 1-unit play.
I like goals. I think there's goals in this match. I've gone for over 2.5 goals at plus 102. I'm actually going to this match with my family, my brother, my nephews. We're all going, and I think we're going to watch a good match. 6 weeks ago it was a pick and match. Now Villa are clear favourites, but I think that Palace come into this match with a lot of optimism after that match against Arsenal, and the fact that Villa have been brilliant, and then all of a sudden they conceded late on against Manchester City have changed the complexion of the match ever so slightly. They were brilliant against Newcastle, but Villa have played a lot of football. The one thing I would say about Aston Villa, they have a game plan. They stick to the game plan. It's entertaining football. We saw them in 2 quarterfinals against Paris Saint-Germain, and both of them were great watches. 3-1, 3-2, lots of goals, lots of chances, and Palace will relish that. If a team go at Palace, they hit them on the counter-attack, they'll love it. Eze, you've got Mateta, the power, the pace of him. Sarr's been electric this season. Attacking fullbacks as well are great. And I've got a feeling we've got goals. There's 3 matches already this season. Palace are unbeaten in the 3 matches. There was a 4-1 win at Selhurst Park, a 2-2 draw. at Villa Park, and a 2-1 win for Palace at Villa Park in the Cup as well. All of them over 2.5, all of them cashed. And I got a feeling here that both of these sides will put on a bit of a show here. So I'm going for goals over 2.5 plus 102. And I've got a sneaky feeling Palace will edge it.
Jack, you go the other side of the money line, don't you? I thought Villa stood off City. Nigel's right. When they go at teams, they are very good. They didn't really show the same intensity in midweek, but they have got an extra day's rest. Could that be a factor?
I think it is a little bit, yeah. I have gone with Villa at plus money here, obviously neutral venue and so on. That extra day will probably give them a little bit of an edge. I just think they've got so much firepower that they can rotate in those forward areas. Watkins obviously looks very, very hungry, frustrated that he's been on the bench for some big games. He documented that himself in post-match interviews. And so you are impressed with Villa. I say it's a little bit of a surprise to a certain degree. They kind of looked like they were taking what they had with that 1-1 and paid the price at the death. So I don't think that will be the case against Palace. So agree with Nigel. I think it will be a very exciting and the probably more watchable game of the two semi-finals this weekend. This one does look like one that should offer plenty, and one I'm certainly looking forward to seeing, albeit from the comfort of my living room or somewhere else, holding a beer while Nigel's at the venue. But I'll go with Villa at plus 123 to edge it.
Second semi on Sunday, 11:30. Forest against Man City. City minus money favourites here. I think the two team styles, Nigel, sort of setting up for a good one. City love to dominate. Forest are a counter-attacking side. Neither have got to change the tactics for this side, but we've seen different results, even those same performances from the league encounters between the two. Where are we dropping for this one for a lean for you?
Well, I think Manchester City are obviously a proven side at this level. You know, we said they go on the runs and they know what to do. Usually they come on these huge runs and winning runs and unbeaten runs and go and win the title. They're on now an unbeaten run and a winning run, and they're going to make Champions League spots and probably, they deserve to be favourites heading in to win the FA Cup. They know how to do it. They've seen it. They've been there. They've done it. They've been their last 7 FA Cup semi-finals. They've won the lot. They know what to do. For Nottingham Forest, it's all a new experience. And probably a lot of these players have never played at Wembley. I would have thought a lot of these Nottingham Forest players. Something I've done more than they have. It's incredible, really, to think about it. But anyway,
maybe you should be up front for our betting.
You should see my miss at Wembley. It's the worst miss. Jeff Thomas. You don't want to. You don't do that. But anyway, I've gone for a couple of props. I expect a real good end of the season for Kevin De Bruyne. I think Kevin De Bruyne will have a good end of the season. Kevin De Bruyne to score any time plus 290. I think he scores in the reverse fixture in the league match in the 3-0 win. I think he set the other 2 goals up as well. A brilliant performance then. And the other one I like is a player that I saw at the Charity Shield or the Community Shield at the start of the season, and he plays as a holding midfielder, and he looked quality. And I said at the time, this kid will play for England. Very good. And it's Nico Riley. He's Man City's top goal scorer in the FA Cup this season. He plays at left back, but he can play anywhere on the pitch, and it depended on the team selection. He's a bit short with Bet Rivers. He's plus 540 to score at any time. But I can see Forest having enough, City having enough quality to beat Forest here and probably winning it 2-0, 2-1. But I think that De Bruyne would be my thought process. End of his career, want to go out on a high. Could be his last match at Wembley for Man City, and I think that you want to take him at plus 290, but don't rule out Nico Riley to get something, but it's a little bit short at plus 540.
Jack, what do you think? Second semi.
I like the Nico Riley one as well. Yeah, I think he's a player that's been catching the eye over the last few weeks, certainly. I've gone with a tie. I think this will be quite a tight affair. As you said already, the styles kind of match each other. I think Pep will be wary of overcommitting too much because he knows how dangerous Forest are on the counter-attack. I think he'll be happy to kind of grind them down to a certain extent, plenty of possession, moving them from side to side to side. And if it takes extra time to get the job done, he'll take it. I think City might be the ones that win the FA Cup because it's so important to him. We saw how much that win meant, considering everything he's won. Like he celebrated that last goal against Villa like they just kind of got into the Champions League final, let alone just won a league game to get third place. But I think Nuno will set Forest up as he does. Sit deep, control City, look to let's say hit him on the break. But it could lead to a bit of a tight and cagey battle Obviously, an early goal completely opens it up and changes the dynamic. But the longer it goes on, I think he'd settle for taking it. Obviously, they've taken all their FA Cup ties all the way, haven't they, this season? So I'm taking this one to be level after 90 minutes, regular time, tie at plus 290.
Yeah, been a lot of extra time in Forest games. We like the tie, or Jack does at plus 290. A couple of props there from Nigel De Bruyne. I think it's a great shout. He's looking to finish his City career on a high. Free $50 play. Who wins the FA Cup? Nigel. City plus 110, Villa plus 275, Palace plus 450, Forest plus 450. Where's your money going on the futures play for the FA Cup ahead of the semi-finals?
Crystal Palace plus 450.
Oh,
Eagles.
Lovely. Jack?
Oh, favourite backer. I've said City a couple of weeks ago, so I'm going to stick with them. City.
Fav Backer, City plus 110. Futures betting for that one on the website, obviously. Chaps, thanks very much for your company. Good luck to one and all. We'll keep everyone updated as per usual. That is a wrap for Betting Weekly Premier League show. We're going to be back, of course, next week. More picks, plays, hot dogs, same game parlays. Don't forget the live show, 11 a.m. every midweek day. Follow us at Because We Win. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get your picks in. If you're fading us, let us know why. If you are tailing us, everybody is welcome aboard. If you're watching 101 Corners this weekend, it's a great film. From all of us for now, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.